1-point perspective drawing. So today, we are going to be drawing this. Just kidding. But we are going to be learning about how we could possibly draw this step by step, and you would be able to do it. So this is called 1-point perspective. This photograph is called a 1-point perspective photograph, and we are going to learn 1-point perspective drawing. And we're going to do it at a very basic level, but I want to show you a real-life example of what perspective artists use to get their drawings correct each time. So 1-point perspective rules that all vertical lines that we use are going to be straight up and down. But before I mention that, I want to show the most important thing. All horizontal lines are straight left to right. And so what that means is we have to find our first horizon line, her first horizontal line, which is our eye level line. That means the viewer, the person who is viewing the photograph or the person who is creating the drawing, that's their eye level line. And I'll demonstrate that in just a little bit with some fun stuff. But I'm going to draw it in here for you. I'm actually just going to put it in there because I've already had it. So this is your eye level line. Whenever we draw, we always have to have an eye level line or a horizon line. The next thing that we need to do is we need to have what they call a vanishing point. I'm not going to dig into what a vanishing point means. You'll be able to see it as we go along here. So what I'm going to do is just show you in real life how people figure this out. And we're going to start up here with this corner of the building. Okay, so I'm going to start at the corner of the building and watch what happens when I just draw a line this way. You see where it goes? It goes right to that vanishing point. I'm going to take the next little edge right here. I'm going to go like this. There we go. And let's take another building over on this side right here. I'm going to take this line here and watch what happens with this. How about right down here, the railroad tracks? It's going to go right to that vanishing point. Each one of these lines that are not specifically horizontal and not specifically vertical, like let me just prove these vertical lines to you. Here's a little spot on this building. That's a vertical line. Here's another little spot on this building. That's a vertical line. But let's finish the top of that building. I'm going to take a little line and it's going to go like this all the way to the vanishing point. And with 1-point perspective, that's really almost all you need to know. So we'll demonstrate that on a smaller scale, but watch what happens with these windows. I can really quickly fill them in, because with Procreate, I've got something that's called guided assisted drawing, and they're going to follow all of the lines to the vanishing point. Oops, that little one did not go slanted. So let's just use what they have here already. This is like a real life situation. And let's say I wanted to bring in a box. I wanted to create my own box on top of this photograph. Right? So what I'm going to do is let's go with yellow here. It's going to be probably the best way to see it. And I'm going to draw, first of all, I'm going to draw a box with the bottom of the box below the eye level line and the top of the box above the eye level line. I'll draw a box just like this. It's going to go like this. This is what we're going to be doing today. I have a square here, and so following the rules of perspective, each one of these corners is going to go back to the vanishing point. So I'm going to take the bottom left corner of the square right here, and we're going to go and push it all the way back to the vanishing point. I'm going to take the top left part of it that's up here, and we're going to go all the way down. You see how it follows right to that. So you would do that with your ruler, and the top of the corner would go to and the ruler would go to the vanishing point. And then the last thing that I need to do right here, see, that was a pretty easy step, just going corner to corner to vanishing point, corner to vanishing point, corner to vanishing point. Now what I need to do is just decide how long I want this box to be. So I'm going to go like this. Just going to choose right there. You could choose anywhere you wanted to. Let's say if I wanted to even right here, I could choose right here. And then what I'm going to do after that is take my eraser and erase my guideline like that and get rid of that horizon line. And then we have a cube. Now this is a cube that has that's split in the middle, so let's go like this. But you can see, just taking off the picture, what we have here. Now we have a cube. So we could do the same thing on the other side if we wanted to do that. I'll speed this up just so you can see it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a new layer on here, and we're going to put the box above the horizon line here, so that we'll be able to see the bottom. This won't be good for a cityscape, but it's going to show you where we can put that box anywhere. And then this time we'll be using 3 corners. Put the box up here. Okay. This. Right now it's just a square. It's just a 2D square, but if we want to make it 3-dimensional, we're going to take this corner on the bottom left. That's going to go that way to the vanishing point. And actually, let's go to the top left first. This is what we've already been shown. Okay, this is what we just did with the other square. Now I'm going to go to the opposite corner. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to bring it in. And you can see that we're going to be able to see the bottom of the box. Now, why don't we go to the top right? Why don't I go up here like this and go like that? Because we wouldn't really be able to see that line because it would be overlapped by the front. So we'll get rid of that. And now we'll go to the exact same thing. We'll just decide how long this cube is. Let's just make it right here. And so that's what we did last time, but now we're going to have to add a bottom to that cube, a bottom line. So remember, the vertical lines are all up and down. This line's going to be horizontal because you'll notice that part of our square, that's horizontal, right? So now I'm going to go right here where this corner meets the line, where it meets the edge, and I'm just going to go a straight horizontal line all the way across there until it reaches the other line. And you can see what that's created. So we're going to take our eraser. We're going to erase the lines that we don't need, our little guidelines. There we go. And now you can see that we have a cube. We could fill that in if we wanted to. Now we have a cube. Let's just fill it in. We can do the same thing on the bottom. So let's go over to the other side. I'm going to do that fast. Now we have the other cube. Just going to fill that in. So now you can see we have 2 different cubes. And so you can make basically anything just by using these rules, these laws. Once again, all the vertical lines are going to be straight up and down. All the horizontal lines are going to be straight left and right. And then all the other lines are going to go to a vanishing point. And one thing that we need to know about that vanishing point, the vanishing point always has to be on the horizon line there. See, it's right there. And then if we follow those rules, that's how we'll be able to do 1-point perspective drawing. And you'll be able to utilize a guide. Let's take that. You see how I have these guidelines here? I'm going to give you kind of the same thing with some guidelines on it, and you can draw whatever you'd like to, whether you'd want to be a building. I'll do some really fast drawings real quick just to show you what we can do. And just to give you a real-life application of what this looks like and how we can see it, we're going to jump over to one of my favorite games. So here we are in one of the greatest games ever created, and you'll see that my character has one eye, because his eye is on the eye level line. And also notice that the villager behind him has the exact same eye level line as Steve does. Let's walk around and take a look at our environment from a perspective point of view. So we are in our first person point of view, and you can notice the villager's eye level line is exactly the same as mine, so they're the same height. And when we look at a building straight on, you can see that it's just square, but if we go around to the other side of it, and we look at it this way, we notice that's also a square or rectangular if we look at it straight on. But if we back up just a little bit and go back to where we were, back up here, we can see all of a sudden we're seeing that 1-point perspective, and that's where we're at now. If we go above, we look at that road, which a little while ago was just a trapezoid going back into the vanishing point. Now we can see that it's just a regular rectangle, a very, very long rectangle. And this is why we need perspective. It's the way we view things. Now let's take a look at these telephone poles. You can see that they look like they're getting smaller and smaller, but we know telephone poles are all the same size. So we're going to take a look at that just a little bit closer. And we have a horizon line. We just have to figure out where that vanishing point is. So if you look at the top of the telephone poles, we can draw a line all the way down to the horizon line and do the same thing with the bottom of the telephone poles. And you'll notice that they're going to end up on the horizon line. So if we were drawing telephone poles or a road, that's how we would draw them. We'd find the vanishing point on the horizon line, and then we would continue to draw those. One important thing to note is that look where the vanishing point is here on the horizon line. It's over on the right side. So you could have one on the left side, in the middle, on the right side. It doesn't really matter. And we'll make one more Minecraft perspective example. Let's just take a look at these stairs that I created. And also just notice the cubes in the background too. You notice how they're above the horizon line and we can see their bottoms. So you can kind of see that. But with all of the stairs, you can look and see that they're created with just 2 blocks. And then there were stairs on top of the blocks there. See how they're created with just 2 blocks on top of each other? So all of these lines, every single one of them is going to be vertical. And all of the horizontal lines are going to be horizontal. We're going to move over to the right just to get a little bit better, more dramatic perspective of this. Again, those lines are still going to be vertical, but now you can see the ones that are going back to the vanishing point, back to the horizon line. So we'll take a little quick screenshot and then let's just follow those lines to the horizon line to see where they go. Because once we have one, we know where the other ones are going to be able to go. So if we were drawing that staircase, this is how we would do that. These last few videos are just going to be some examples, just so you remember how to do things. And so you can kind of see how I started out with squares or rectangles and then just added each corner to the vanishing point. Now here's an example of what you can do with one-point perspective drawing. You can draw doors, you can draw windows if you use these techniques. Basically just use the rules, vertical lines, horizontal lines, the rest of the lines going back to the vanishing point. Then you can start to add intricate little details and just create whatever it is that you wanted. And just try it out and see what happens when you experiment. You can even carve holes into things like that. Here is an example of a square, facing a square straight on. You see that there is no vanishing point because you can't connect the corners. Like he said, thanks for watching.